Please help me in welcoming Greg Feldman.
Thanks, Loretta. It is an honor to speak on behalf of the most extraordinary collection of financial debt assembled since the Reagan era, Harvard Medical and Dental Class of 2005. By some estimates, the amount that my class owes the federal government is about the same as what the federal government owes the European Union. So in the spirit of patriotism, I'd like to propose that the United States deploy the Harvard class of 2005 to Ibiza and the Riviera, and we'll all just call it even. On this day, you will be tempted to offer us congratulations. But the fact that we will be walking across this stage testifies to one truth and one truth only, that none of us graduating today possessed the dedication, the creativity, the persistence, or the strength of character it would have taken to flunk out of Harvard once they let us in. After 4 years of study, I have learned the following. I have learned that the majority of adolescents in pediatrics clinic have more active sex lives than I do. I've learned that surgeons might not know what an organ does, but they aren't afraid to cut it out. I've learned that PowerPoint is the most efficient way to make a presentation because it saved our professors the trouble of thinking about their own lectures and us the trouble of remembering them. I've learned that we will struggle for years to attain a white coat that's just as long as what the guy from food service receives immediately. And I have learned that there is no situation in the hospital so tragically hopeless that a Harvard medical student can't make it even worse. You probably think that you're here today to celebrate us, but we think we're actually here to celebrate you, the family and faculty who got us to graduation. My parents, brother, and sister are here from Chicago, which my Harvard professors tell me is a small city located somewhere in California. My father's an internist who still loves going to the office after more than 40 years in practice. Like many of the physician parents in the audience, Dad was mildly horrified that his child decided to go to medical school in the current healthcare climate. But he and my mother, the best teacher I know, have always supported our right to make our own mistakes. Since they'll be watching this on video, I want to say the following to my grandparents. If you'd had 1/4 of the opportunities that you and my parents struggled to give me, you'd have been standing on this stage 60 years ago. So I'd like to take this chance to thank my family and all the families here who worked so hard to give us the choices that we've had. And for those of you who were able to pay your child's tuition outright, I hope that you feel good about having purchased an education instead of, say, the Cayman Islands. Great teaching often occurs while nobody is watching, with no expectation of recognition or reward, which is precisely why I'd like to mention a few of the faculty who were tremendously kind to me. So Academy Award style, let me briefly thank the following. My surgical mentors, Dr. Soybel, Dr. Leday, and Dr. Hoden. Dina Oriel, Dr. Gorel, Dr. Struhler, Dr. Seifter, and Dr. Cindy McDermott. I'd also like to thank the Brigham Surgeon-in-Chief, Dr. Zinner, who made time to meet with us every week when we were third years, and Dr. Charles McCabe, a surgeon who trained 1/3 of my class and probably 1/2 of the residents in the audience today. I'm particularly delighted that our graduation speaker is Dr. Atul Gawande, who, in addition to being a busy surgeon and an elegant writer, found time to encourage me to pursue my interests in surgery and international medicine. We're aware that our mentors could have been spending more time with their patients, their families, or their research. Instead, they chose to spend some of it with us. We are profoundly grateful, and we promise not to tell your department chairs. Perhaps the most extraordinary contribution to our education, however, came from the thousands of patients who asked us to learn from them so we could someday treat others. On this day, I think of the elderly female patient who once told me, "You remind me of my husband. You don't look anything like him, though. He was a very handsome man." I'd like to conclude with the final lessons I've learned. I've learned from classmates like Hadar, Anoop, Mary Catherine, and Laura, whose work in clinics around the globe inspired my interest in international medicine, the simple proposition that our neighbors in the world should be treated like neighbors. Because of their contributions, patients in Haiti, Guatemala, Africa, and Asia know that our country has far, far more to offer the world than guns, pharmaceuticals, and arrogance. I've learned that we might never match the intellectual accomplishments of our professors, but if we rigorously abstain from exercise, we might someday hope to match their physiques. But the most valuable lesson is the one learned by my roommate, who watched an anesthesiologist save someone's life during a code by injecting just the right medication into a patient he thought was the patient next door. You can read about this instead in Dr. Gwande's upcoming book, Your Hospital is Trying to Kill You. The lesson is simple. In medicine, as in life, it's far more important to be lucky than to be good. My friends and classmates, we've spent the last 4, 5, or in some cases 37 difficult years of our lives studying to get good, and not one of us graduating today can effectively treat lower back pain. So as we move forward into our residencies, let us resolve to take the focus off getting good and concentrate instead on getting lucky. Thank you.